Trump vows to abolish the IRS. They've enslaved America. And the article goes in to say Donald Trump has vowed to abolish the IRS and stop unconstitutional taxation on American people when he becomes president. The most petty, pathetic thing that governments have done to us as average private citizens is tax our labor. Our work is taxed. Our income is taxed. Everything we make is taxed. And then when we go out to purchase and do other things, we are taxed. We are taxed to death. Old news. But what he needs to go after is the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a foreign banking entity in the United States that basically operates and basically lends money to institutions within America with a little bit of vague interest. And what happens? Well, very simply, when banks start to default or start to notice that they are running low on funds, the Fed would print money and give it to the banks. But here's the deal. If you end the Fed or get rid of the Fed, what happens to banks? Banks start to default. Once banks start to default, what happens? Consumer confidence goes down and people start to get smart with their money. And then banks start offering you higher interest rates on your savings. Save with us and we'll give you more money. Banks will give you more incentives to deal with them. Heck, if the Fed disappeared tomorrow, half the banks will fall off. But not only that, you'd have good institutions with good books, good lending practices, and good character. And they're there for you. And what in turn do the banks need? Well, they need more private citizens to have some sort of a saving or some sort of a loan. Why? Because then what will in turn happen is people will be getting paid, or will start getting increases in wages, and people will start getting paid more. Why would they be getting paid more? Well, because all this shenanigans banking will start to dissolve and default, and you'll start going into the realistic approach of the banking system. You know, back in the day, you put money in the bank for 7 years, it doubled with interest. Every 7 years, your money would double. But you start making more. You'll start saving more. You'll start organizing, and banks will be begging for your business. Once the Fed ends and the foreign banking system disappears, that the Woodrow Wilson put into place, that basically destroyed America pretty much overnight, and the Income Tax Act that Donald Trump said he wants to abolish. Well, the most pathetic thing governments have done is tax you on your labor. If they end the Fed, banks go bankrupt. Banks go bankrupt, what happens? Banks love you again. Banks need you again. And they're not going to go woke. They're actually going to go that fine straight line because they know they don't have the bailouts from the Federal Reserve. And that's how you could fix America to start. Oh, yeah, you could have a gold-backed currency. There's so many things you could do. But I just wanted to let you guys know, to end the Fed, foreign entity put in by Woodrow Wilson, and Andrew Jackson fought his entire administration to get rid of the banking cartels and the foreign banking systems. And back at the time of Andrew Jackson, when the foreign banking cartels were abolished, a lot of banks in America started to go bankrupt and default. Why? Because they weren't doing things right. Right? Banks are about making money, not stealing money, and not inflating money, and not printing money. It's about using your money and making money, or trying to make money, and maybe even getting rid of the whole fractional reserve system. How's about that? We abolish the fractional reserve system and say we do one-to-one. 85% of banks will flop overnight if you do one-to-one. They're lending you, and they're giving you, and they're enslaving you with money they don't even have. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.